gateway between the East and West, Belgrade is a melting pot of cultures. Serbia's capital is one of the oldest cities in Europe with over 1.5 million inhabitants. The past and future merge in an unbelievable stream of energy. The Sava here flows into the Danube. The city stood at the crossroads of trade since ancient times. Now it's famous for its magical effect on travellers. Visitors can plunge deep into the past while visiting the Belgrade Fortress in Kalmagdan Park. The first fortified walls were erected at the confluence of the Sava and Danube by Celts in the 3rd century BC. Later it was conquered by the Romans. In total, the city fortress was completely destroyed 44 times.
Kalmagdan is the heart of the city, and you can really travel through history. Here you have the Roman part of the wall, you have the medieval Serbian part of the wall, and right now we're walking at the Austro-Hungarian wall.
122 wars have been fought over Belgrade and its fortress through history. The military stronghold was used in both world wars to defend the city.
Inside the Ružica church in Belgrade Fortress, we have chandeliers which are made out of weapons, and they have very deep meaning that the war should never happen again here in Belgrade.
Modernity looks at the past from the other side of the river with the crystal at the confluence, the name some give to the Museum of Contemporary Art built in the 1960s. After a decade of renovation, it reopened with an exhibition showcasing art created in Yugoslavia and in Serbia today.
It really wants to stress the importance of Yugoslavistic heritage and that mixing of different culture and artistic codes which existed in that what we call Yugoslavistic space.
And Comrade Tito was a big part of it. An official portrait of the president of the former Yugoslavia is at the heart of this creation by Serbian artist Dusan Otošević, inspired by American pop art.
The work itself is ambiguous in meaning. You cannot say, is it an affirmation of the Tito's cult of personality, indifferent in artistic language, or you can find ironic distance. So it's still a question we can pose today.
Tito's guests, presidents and prime ministers, used to dine in Scara Dalia, one of Belgrade's most beautiful streets. 400 meters long, it's famous for old restaurants, tireless musicians and a bohemian past. Famous Serbian writer Goran Gosic told us Scara Dalia's story.
This used to be a gypsy quarter in the early 19th century, and then little by little it became bohemian quarter for Belgrade artists, like this guy, that's Đure Jakšić. It's famous Serbian painter and writer who actually lived in this street, in this house.
The Three Hats restaurant opened in 1864, and Đure Jakšić used to spend evenings here with other famous writers, musicians and actors from the nearby National Theatre. Scara Dalia became the symbol of the soul of Belgrade, a city with a phenomenal power to inspire people.
Belgrade is the city full of differences, some of which are very madly incompatible with each other, but yet they coexist. Because of lots of differences that make the city alive, there's this kind of magic that makes everybody that comes to Belgrade feel like they're at home.
A source of inspiration to many architects, Belgrade's Cooperative was built at the start of the 20th century. It was one of the first palaces in the city and remains one of its highlights. 100 years ago, there was a bank, offices and luxury shops here.
It was a major task for architects to design, on a highly irregular foundation, a building meant to show the great power and security of the Belgrade Cooperative as an institution and the money invested in its bank.
The Cooperative Building is where the future of Belgrade is being showcased. The Belgrade waterfront is one of the biggest real estate projects in Europe. It will have the largest shopping mall in the region, luxury hotels, offices and a world-class residential offering, bringing 14,000 new inhabitants to live next to the Sava River.
So the main idea behind this project is to reconnect people with the waterfront. So basically to revive this old neglected area right next to the waterfront and bring people as close as possible to the water itself.
Belgrade never sleeps and has exceptional nightlife. Travellers, locals, VIPs, there's a perfect place for everyone. DJ Nexi, who owns a nightclub, showed us one of the most popular party districts.
We are at Savamala. This is the main part in Belgrade for a nightlife. It's the old part, but now really famous for clubbing, so it's a perfect place to catch the Belgrade vibe. Belgrade nightlife is so special because of the people in Belgrade and the Serbians, because we live for the party and the party never ends.
Belgrade parties 7 days a week, all year round. Another thing to celebrate in the Serbian capital.